Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I thought we'd have a closer look at these. These are the new plants I've got. Again, to fill out the gravel beds. So far I've planted up sort of corners of areas, but the gravel beds in reality are actually quite large. And if I only plant round the edges, the middle bits are going to still look quite bare. Now, I don't want the whole of the gravel beds covered in plants, otherwise they'll disappear completely. But, you know, think about that. What a spectacle that would be. Lots and lots of different ground cover plants, different shapes, foliage, colours, different colours on the blooms, colours on the leaves, all sort of in clumps, intermingled. It would look quite stunning. But I'd need an awful lot of plants to be able to do that, and well, there is a budget. Well, there isn't a budget, but we've squeezed some, shall we say. Yes, so these will grow. They're little plants, but they will grow, and then eventually pieces can be taken off the edges and moved elsewhere. So gradually we will get more and more clumps as time goes on. So the gravel beds get the most sun. So obviously most of these are sun-loving plants, and most of them like poor soil, which is what they're going to get. As you've seen in the previous video, it's not really soil, it's stones with a bit of dirt mixed in. So it should suit them, you know, it'll stop them getting waterlogged and all that sort of stuff, because they don't like that sort of thing. So they're destined for the gravel beds. I haven't decided where yet, that's still to be looked at. There are in fact two of each. I've just brought one in at the moment, and I'm filming indoors because it's a bit blowy outside and it's threatening to rain. I don't want to get caught in that with the camera outside. So this is a type of thyme, and this one basically is golden yellow thyme. It's often, I think it's called lemon thyme. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, Thymus citroderus aurea. And it's a low growing thyme, and it's a spreading thyme. It's not going to get much height to it. You'd be lucky to get more than, you know, sort of 8 to 10 centimetres at most. It does bloom. The blooms are not exactly conspicuous, but they do attract bees. So, and this, it looks like a single plant. They're strange these times, because it's more of a shrub than a ground cover plant, but it grows like a ground cover plant. If you look in here, it's actually quite woody. You know, these are like sticks, not fleshy bits. Anyway, so that's a thyme. And then we have another one of those over here, which is a different one, and the blooms are a little more conspicuous on this one. This is Thymus cephalum. My mouth won't work. Cephalum. We'll get there in a minute. And again, a low spreading, shrubby type ground cover plant. Again, it's not going to get much height. Sort of 10 centimetres at the most. This one can get taller, it just depends on the circumstances. So you could get a maximum height of 20 centimetres on this, which makes it a small shrub basically, doesn't it, rather than true ground cover, whereas this one really is ground cover. So that's the two thymes. Right, then we have a look at the phlox. Now, I've not come across these before, so these are new plants to me. This is Phlox subulata Bavaria, and as you can see, the blooms on this look incredibly attractive. I'm looking forward to seeing this actually bloom. Now again, this is a sun lover. You'd be lucky to get more than 10 centimetres out of it. It probably will need a little bit of extra compost around the base, because although it prefers a poor soil, it's not truly drought tolerant like some of the others, so it's not going to appreciate being bone dry in the baking sun. So I might actually point that towards a sort of area that gets less full sun and doesn't necessarily get sun all day long. But yeah, attractive foliage, sort of spiky, not prickly spiky, but spiky, and again, a low spreading plant. And then the other phlox is called Goldiflox, not Goldilocks, Goldiflox rose. Now Goldiflox has lots of varieties. There's rose, there's light pink, there's various bits on the end, but this one is rose. Again, attractive blooms, same sort of foliage as the last one, quite spiky, quite firm, and woody stems, so bordering on a shrub, I suppose you could say. And this one can get a bit taller, sort of, this can get up to sort of 15 centimetres. So, again, somewhere between ground cover and a small shrub, low growing shrub, something like that. Right, then we've got the Sedum, and this is called Coral Carpet, I believe. Sedum album, and it's Coral Carpet. And you can see from the picture there that at certain times of year the foliage does get quite a red tinge to it. There's some tinges of red here now, and very low growing, this one, real ground hugger, so it spreads out relatively quickly with these sort of runners. They touch the surface and root. You can see little roots coming there, look. Yeah, so that piece would break off and grow, but I'm not breaking any pieces off. They're going to go as a single plant this time round, but I might change my mind on this because I've got a specific place, and if I choose to put plants in there, I will need to split this in two, and I need to split the other one in two because I would need 4. Now that remains to be seen, but I'll give you a clue. If you look where the 4 paths meet in the middle, there's a circle. Now I think a very low growing sedum that actually fills that circle would look pretty attractive and emphasize the fact that there's a circle there, because the plants would make the circle, and they can be kept trimmed to fit that circle. And obviously if pieces start to grow, they can be trimmed off and put elsewhere. So we're not limited to only having them there. But that's my idea. But to do that properly, I would need 4 plants. So hopefully these all tear into 2, or maybe even 3. If I could get 6 plants, I would virtually fill the circle in one go. So that's that one. That's to go with the other sedums that I've already planted. There were 3 different types went in. They're all taller growing type sedums. This is a real ground hugger. And then the last one, which was a bit, I wasn't quite sure whether I ought to get this or not, because it's a little bit different in as much as it quite likes an acidic, slightly acidic soil. Now I can achieve that because once I've actually dug the holes out, and I'll be planting it in stones with a bit of dirt. Well, I've got some ericaceous compost in the shed that I use for some of my bonsai, the acers. The maples like a slightly acidic soil. They come from the forest floor basically, so they've got loads of leaf litter around them all the time. My mouth won't work, and so consequently I've got some of that in the shed. I don't need to go and get it, but also there'll be some of this compost on here, which is probably suitable for the plant, I would think. Some of that will break off and mix in the hole as well. But that's the only thing with this one. It is a bit different, but gorgeous blue blooms. And it looks like there's buds on there. They may bloom this year. They may hold for next year. That I don't know. I've never heard of this plant before. It just came up on the list of ground cover plants suitable for gravel beds. So this one's just a little bit different. It will need a bit of extra compost on the acidic side to make it happy. It also prefers part shade, or it's not going to put up with baking sun all day long in a gravel bed, I don't think. So if it can get sun for a fair bit of the day, that'll be fine. So this one might go in a part shaded area. Yet to be seen. And this one grows taller. This can get up to 20-25 centimetres. So again, it's a low growing shrub, quite honestly, rather than a ground cover plant. But it spreads wide, produces an abundance of small sky blue star-shaped flowers. Well, hopefully. So those are the plants I got from the local garden centre. And now we've got something else, which is nothing to do with this set of plants, but this area out here in the garden, yeah, it's what I call my planted bed. This is the only real area I've got to plant things in, apart from the gravel beds, because everywhere else is covered in ivy. And that's a big job to get that out and turn that back into, you know, a flower bed. So that stays as it is for now. So this is my only area for planted stuff. And I have a friend from the Orchid Channel, Carol, who's been following the Orchid Channel for some time, who lives in deepest West Wales. If you go much further, you're in the Irish Sea. And she's been sending me some plants from her garden to help get my garden started. Yeah, so that's where virtually all of those plants came from. And she's sending me some more plants, which will include some ground cover plants. So they're not specifically aimed at that area this time. They're to help out with planting up the gravel beds. And I should be getting those later this week. But it's totally dependent on weather, because we have got weather fronts coming in across the UK at the moment, so we're due heavy rain in pulses, not rain all day long, but you know, heavy rain at times. And West Wales tends to get the brunt of it because it comes from that general direction and dumps as soon as it hits the ground, hits the shoreline. So it's weather dependent on whether the plants can be lifted and sort of boxed up and got round to Postman Pat to send across to me. And what I'm expecting from that is lavender. So that will be clumps of lavender, not to go on the edges of the paths in the gravel beds, but to go in the middle and form little clumps within the gravel beds. So that it puts some colour, and obviously good for butterflies and bees. That's what I'm after. She's also going to send me some thyme. Now I don't know which sort, but she sent me photos of the plants in her garden that she's going to send, and I'm pretty sure it's this one, or like this one. So we should get some more of that as well. So that'll be good. She's also sending me some campanula, and this is a low growing type, a low growing spreading type, and it has lovely bluish purple bells as far as the blooms are concerned, and it grows sort of long sprays, arching sprays out of the base of the plant that the flowers are on. So that'll look quite good as well. That can, well, I might put some of that along this edging here to stop all the dirt keep falling off. We'll see, yet to be decided. Then I've got some achilleas, or achilleas, however you say that, coming. And again, it's a plant I know nothing about, but apparently it has yellow flowers with sort of very small flowers clustered together, forming like a flat top. But again, that's probably not for this year, that'll be for next year. That probably isn't for the gravel bed, that's probably for there, but I'll have to look up where they like to be, because it's a plant I don't know. She's also sending some phlox, but the stuff she's going to send me is not creeping phlox, it's the full grown phlox. So that'll be for the back of that border. Again, to give some height and help cover up the flipping fence. So we've got some taller phlox coming. And then some things that I've already had, she's going to send some more of to help fill in some gaps and things. And that's things like violets, our wild native violet this is, and some more primroses. Quite honestly, I can't have enough primroses. I'll always find a spot for primroses. And then last but not least, which I haven't got, is forget-me-nots. very, very good at self-seeding. I know they grow well in gravel beds because the house I came from had gravel beds, and the forget-me-nots came up in those gravel beds every year without fail. So they should, again, they'll do quite good in the gravel beds. Lovely pale blue blooms on those in quite early spring. So we've got some more plants to come from Carol, and we've got these to plant out. And another gift, which is absolutely wonderful, Gail has actually bought me a kneeling stool. It's already bought and it's on the way from the US of A. So it's got a long trip and it's going to get here towards the end of the month, the predicted arrival time. And quite honestly, these little plants, if I do any planting now prior to my kneeling stool arriving, I would only plant 1 or 2 at a time, because the last lot that I did my knees in, and that's a couple of days of quite painful knees. Getting in and out of chairs becomes a problem. The car becomes a problem. So if I do any planting now, I'll be doing it in tiny little bits, just a couple of plants at a time, pending the arrival of what is in fact a birthday present. So that's good. That's 2 years in a trot. Gail has got me a birthday present. Last time she got me, she gave me the money to get a bonsai tree, because I was visiting an actual bonsai nursery, and she said, I'll give you some money to get a nice tree for your birthday. And that tree is, I'll see if I can zoom in on it, it's actually the Japanese white pine, which is, it's the one at the back of those two, not the twisty one at the front, the one with the nice big sturdy trunk at the back. So that's endearingly known as my birthday tree, and that was as I say, that was a present from Gail. So yeah, so we got more planting to do, we've got more new plants to come, and the good news with the channel, the garden, Roger's new garden, the actual channel, is we've got well past the first 1,000 watch hours now. The trouble is, once you get up to 1,000, YouTube stops telling you the actual amount, and it just does 1k, 1.1k, 1.2k, so you don't get the actual number, but it's reading 1.1k at the moment. So we're over our first 1,000. Goal, get to the 2,000. Next goal, get to that 3,000. And as far as the subscribers are concerned, I think I'm up to 412. Something like that anyway, so the subscriber numbers are creeping up. And if you're watching the channel and you're not subscribed, it would be awfully nice if you did so. Let's get that number going. It's the easiest one to get going, because it only involves clicking on the bell thing, and that's it, it's done. There's no money involved, and it doesn't take up your time or anything like that. It's just done, and it bumps that number up. And obviously the old thumbs up helps the channel move along as well, because it tells YouTube that people are liking the videos. Yeah, the thumbs down are not so good. But then if you really don't like a video, that's your prerogative. But the thumbs up is good, rather than doing nothing, if you see what I mean. So those two things help the channel grow, along with watching the videos, obviously. And thanks for your time if you've been watching this video. It is, after all, your time to choose what you do with. And it's nice to have your company, shall we say. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, which could be the new plants arriving in the box. We'll do an unboxing video where we can stick the camera on the tripod and interrogate the contents of the box, a plant at a time, and have a look and see what we've got. And then there'll be some more planting videos to come. There isn't, the only big job left in the garden is the bamboo, and I can't do that until Hannah's down, which is the beginning of October, so there's a bit of a wait on getting that bit done. So anyway, thanks for dropping by. See you next time.